What?
Flippy.
Oh, yeah. Look how much you've confused me because we're so far behind.
Me. I've confused him.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We've been talking about Flippy for 6 or 7 years as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Big day! And I'm glad we have a UK executive producer because this is pertinent to his experience of the world. This is coming from Futurism.com. Futurism.com has a headline here. Deranged scheme proposes mounting Queen's coffin on robot arm.
There it is. It's made royalty.
Subheadline, maybe they're onto something. They may call it deranged, but it's not quite the worst idea they've ever heard. There are few things as quintessentially English as queues and the Queen. Queen Elizabeth II's death at the ripe old age of 96 and her impending funeral has brought those two corners of English life together outside Westminster Hall, resulting in a line over 5 miles long to view and pay respects to her coffin. Saying it's become a logistical nightmare would be an understatement. When the waiting time reached 14 hours earlier this Friday. This came out about a week ago. Officials had to temporarily suspend the queue for 6 hours. It's now been reopened, but for the poor suckers at the back of the line, they've been warned it might take them a full 24 hours or longer before they finally reach the Queen's coffin. Surely, there must be a way to speed up the process.
Of course.
Enter Royal Robots. On that front, the internet has once again delivered, with artist Richard Perry tweeting a detailed and deeply tongue-in-cheek video of a deranged solution, mounting the Queen's coffin on a robotic arm. And there's a video here, which I think deserves... Is there a voiceover on this video?
Yes.
Okay, let's play the video.
Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone. I think I've finally got a solution for the Queen's coffin lining up problem. The problem that we're having really is that it's taking about 30 hours for people to get through it, that's just unconscionable. So I think the way that it's running right now is that people are queuing up either side of the coffin, and they're sort of doing their last respects. This is not efficient. We're giving the Queen has got a lot more surface area than we're giving her credit for. We need to get rid of this. So what I'm proposing is that we mount the Queen to a Kawasaki robotic arm, and we bust out all the windows in Westminster in the hall, and we move the Queen around on the Kawasaki arm so everyone gets a good view of her. And this way, I mean, the view, it's going to be quick, but you do get to see it. This way we can handle about, I think it's 80 mourners per second, so that's pretty good. We can handle the entire country of 67 million people within about 3 days. So that's pretty good. That's just in time to the funeral. Let me know what you think. I don't know if we want to get this off the ground, we're probably going to have to start pretty soon.
Okay, so while they're playing, for those people who are just listening to the audio, there was a whole CGI creation to go with it.
A masterpiece is what I'd call it. A masterpiece of the plan, which showed a giant Kawasaki robotic arm lift up the Queen's coffin and sort of rotate it around and show it off to people as they are escorted through a sort of a 4-way maze of
tunnel. There are 4 tunnels that crisscross around
a glass-covered tunnel.
Glass-covered tunnel that you would go through, and they do a sort of a first-person view of what it would look like if you're in the tunnel.
Yeah,
and you'd get a little peek.
Look, and it may sound ridiculous, but it was tasteful. It was tasteful and respectful as this robotic arm sort of wields the Queen's coffin like some sort of medieval weapon as people walk around or are sort of bust around it to take a look. Look, this was obviously a bit of a joke, but I don't think it's that far off. Now, the thing that really struck me with this is part of part of what we've been following with Flippy is like, okay, human being, what problem do you have? What problem? Name any problem. That's your problem. Oh, robotic arm can fix it. Yeah, robot arm will fix it. Doesn't matter what your problem is. Slap a robot arm on it, and boom, humanity's problems are solved. And this was a beautiful sort of application of that concept, which sounds silly, but it literally has been the messaging for years now, for at least a half a decade. The messaging is, no matter what humanity's problem is, a robotic arm can fix it. And we noticed this early on, and that's the whole reason for the Flippy update. And to have it applied to what's our current problem? Oh, we can't show off the Queen's coffin fast enough. Well, slap a robot arm on it. Baby Flippy will take us to the promised land. Let's go, giant robot arm. And of course, there's a little tongue-in-cheek, a little disrespectful or respectful, depending on your thoughts about the robot arm. But I think as we've seen over and over and over, this idea will become less and less of a joke in the near
this
future.
guy will be seen as a prophet in 2042 or something.
He's ahead of his time. He's kind of like us, We're always about 10 years ahead of our time, where, we'll report and make a big deal about something, and 10 years later it becomes the biggest news story of the day. Well, I think this guy's is on the right track there. I'll give it 10 years before we start showing off heads of state coffins by robotic arm.
The other thing that I think is important to point out here is this also assumes that whizzing by something is the equivalent of seeing it or, paying respects or actually visiting it.
I think paying respects is a good,
So, I mean, you get on a train, you get on an airplane. Sometimes the captain will chime in like, run over to the right or the Appalachian Mountains or whatever. Doesn't mean you really soaked in the location, right? You're whizzing past it.
Yeah, of course. That's absolutely correct, Gons, because everybody knows you haven't fully experienced something until you've taken a selfie with it. You at least need the chance to take a selfie with the Queen's coffin.
See, that'll be the thing.
Maybe you set up an automatic camera, kind of like on a ride, like a Disney ride. You don't even know when or where they take the picture, but you get off the ride and boom, there's your picture.
Yeah, well, in your phone or your device or microchip or whatever at this point will know that you're driving past it, and it'll do all the all the necessary data mining to capture that you were there, you got the selfie, the whole deal. So this is perfect. You
can purchase the digital file for $20 in the gift shop as you exit the Queen's funeral gift shop.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I hope her bones are in there tight, because with this thing spinning around, I mean, those bones.
It's interesting. They made it sound like she's not even in there, or maybe that was like the way they could kind of get away with reporting the story without being disrespectful, because they didn't say the robot arm would swing the Queen around. They kept saying it'd swing the coffin around. I don't know. Well, there you go. There's your Flippy update for the day, everybody.
Yeah, stop trying to be an apologist for the Flippy arm there.
Oh, I'm trying to make sure that this artist doesn't go to jail for just being ahead of his time.
Sure.